Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run through the weather warnings as we do have snow and ice warnings issued today and tomorrow. We'll look at the UKV, look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as yes, briefly colder air coming southwards over the course of the next 24 to 36 hours before it does turn quite westerly, potentially disruptively stormy later this coming working week. It's looking likely perhaps through Wednesday until Saturday we could see some quite vigorous low pressure systems, perhaps very deep as well, bringing very gusty winds, perhaps 70-80 miles per hour, and there is the potential, a low chance at this stage, but we've got to keep an eye on it, of perhaps seeing winds strong enough for the systems to potentially become named storms. We'll then have a look at the GFS, ECMWF and the ensemble, see what's happening, of course, the next few weeks. As, of course, we head into the new year, 2023, it is looking likely we start pretty westerly and relatively mild. Nothing ridiculously mild like we saw last year, but temperatures perhaps a couple of degrees above average, around that sort of 10 to 12 degree mark, most likely in the south. A little bit colder further northwards. There are signs right in the extended range from day 10 to day 14 time frame, so into the first week of January, that higher pressure could start to build in. Some models have over top of us, some are having pushing further northwards, and that could open up the door for maybe some colder weather towards the middle of the month, perhaps in the form of an inversion under higher pressure, and maybe a low chance at this stage, but a possibility of seeing that higher pressure turn into some northern blocking, maybe northerly, northeasterlies or upper easterly winds through the middle of the month, but we will have to see. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. First of all, I want to say Merry Christmas to everyone watching this. I know probably most people are quite busy today, so probably not many people probably will watch this, but for those out there who do want to keep up to date with what's going on, of course still want to get a video out because there could be some disruptive weather through the next 24 hours with a bit of snow and ice in the north and the west, but of course maybe some stormy conditions next week. And of course, if you don't celebrate Christmas, I do hope that you enjoy your Sunday and the next couple of days of bank holidays, and enjoy getting out there and enjoying this relatively mild Christmas we do have for many, or this relatively mild period at the moment we do have for many. So if you start on the live radar, you can see today it is a pretty unsettled day, really. There are drier spells away, and I have said this over the last few days. Christmas Day, if you're out for a walk or out doing anything, travelling, it is going to be very much hit and miss if you do get impacted by these heavy blustery showers. And there's an area that's moving through parts of central southern England at the moment. It's very torrential rain. You really will know about this if you get caught under that, and that will be moving northwards and eastwards. We then also have more heavier showers in the north as well, and then of course we have some winteriness over parts of Northern Ireland and Scotland. This is turning increasingly wintry through this evening. Probably not this initial rain band or this initial weather front, but most likely the showers following in behind it. So officially it is a white Christmas with snow falling over parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland. Yes, it's over very high ground, and yes, it is in very isolated spots, but regardless, snowflakes have fallen on Christmas Day, so officially it is a white Christmas. But for most areas it's a relatively milder day with that colder eventually sinking southwards. If you have a look at the temperatures, you can see it is cold across the north and west parts of Western Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. It is cool. Temperatures in the mid-single digits, if not low single digit over high ground. That's the same across Scotland. That cold air will push in for all, giving temperatures in around that 4 or 5 degree mark tomorrow. So nothing ridiculously cold, but generally a degree or two below average. Elsewhere at the moment is relatively mild, so it is relatively pleasant if you do get out there for a walk or any activity outside today, and you do avoid those showers. Now, if you go over to the weather warnings, you can see we have a snow and ice warning issued today in the north of Scotland. Wintry showers are likely to combine with some icy surfaces to cause some travel disruption, mainly to higher routes. It comes into force around 9 PM this evening, so for most it shouldn't impact you. But if you are travelling home later tonight or out and about later this evening, there could be some snow through northern and western Scotland, and it goes all the way till 6 PM tomorrow. Again, 1 to 3 centimetres if possible, temporary over low-lying areas, with 5 to 10 centimetres over the hills. Again, it's nothing exceptional. This sort of weather pattern happens quite often during the winter for areas of Scotland, and seeing falling snow is not too unusual. But of course, falling over the Christmas period, when people may be travelling, people out and about, it could cause some disruption. Through tomorrow, we still have that snow and ice warning, and we have a further ice warning issued from midnight tonight until 10 a.m. tomorrow for Northern Ireland. Again, wintry showers pushing in, and of course, any of those showers that fall in today is rain or just that precipitation band, as we saw on the live radar, that could freeze overnight and cause some issues. So do take care if you're in Northern Ireland or Scotland over the course of the next couple of days. There could be some icy conditions out there. Nothing exceptional, but still could cause some disruptions if you're out and about. Now, if you go over to the UKV and have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as I said, it's going to be a relatively unsettled week after the cold air does exit us through Boxing Day. Now, we haven't pinpointed the low pressures yet. Still, the models are still sort of hit and miss with the positioning and the strength of the low pressure systems. So I would take the charts from probably around Wednesday onwards with a grain of salt, as things can change, wind speeds can change, and positioning of weather bands and low pressure systems can change as well subtly. So we do need to keep an eye on that. Of course, that will be concrete over the course of the next few days, but we'll still have a look at what they're showing today. As we head through this afternoon into the evening, you see precipitation continues to move southwards and eastwards, and that does turn to snow over Scotland, parts of Northern Ireland, maybe the higher ground of Northern England and Wales as well. But again, nothing exceptional for it clears through. For Boxing Day, it will be a relatively cool day and a showery day in the north and west, with frequent showers coming in off the Atlantic and the Irish Sea for parts of Wales and western England, again falling as snow quite widely over higher ground and potentially to low-lying areas for a time within heavier showers. But again, no accumulations are expected, just some wintry stuff coming out of the sky could make a little bit of a picturesque scene for a time. As we head into the 27th, though, thick cloud and a weather front pushes in, and that's going to bump all this colder air out of the way. Could be some snow on its leading edge for Scotland and Northern England, but for most areas it's just rain. And for the 27th in the afternoon, it's going to be quite a gloomy, rainy day, so not particularly pleasant for our second bank holiday. Now, if we do move into the 28th, that's when the low pressure systems really start to arrive. You can see this low spins up from the south. Could be very heavy rain and could be some disruptive winds with this as well, maybe some snow on its leading edge. And then again, the low pressure eventually clears through, and then we could see another disruptive low heading through on Friday as well. Very heavy rain looks likely with this, and very strong winds. Could it be disruptive winds or named storm level winds? We'll have to see. Now, look at the pressure. You can see how a very severe low moves through there, and another very strong low pressure system moves through on Wednesday. And against the positioning of these lows and how deep they get, 970 millibars here, very deep area of low pressure. Again, we'll have to see how tight those isobars do get, and the exact positioning of this as well. Now, if you put in the wind gusts, we'll go from Wednesday. You can see relatively strong wind gusts at times, 40, 50, maybe 60 or 70 miles per hour towards the coast. Again, disruptive, probably warranted a yellow warning, but nothing more than that. But if we did see something like 70 or 80 miles per hour, then we could see a named storm, maybe amber warnings as well, being through the Christmas period, people travelling, things like that. The impacts could be higher, even though the actual weather might not be as severe as other systems. But again, these things can be upgraded, and 5, 10, 50 miles per hour can make a big difference between it being just a yellow warning and a widespread wind warning to being localized amber warnings or even a named storm. So again, something to keep an eye on later this week. The one thing with severe lows is because they're powered by very strong temperature differences within the northern extent and the southern extent of the jet stream, it's going to mean we're going to see big temperature contrasts as weather fronts head through. Now today you can see 10 degrees in the south and east, much colder in the north and the west. And as we head through tonight into tomorrow, widespread frost in northern and west areas. And through to Boxing Day afternoon, you can see widely sort of 4 to 6 degrees, maybe an isolated 7 in the far south. Very cold across Northern Ireland and Scotland, so quite a wintry feeling day for many for Boxing Day. As we head through to the 27th though, frost for the morning, but that could get swept away by most of the time people wake up. And you can see generally for the 27th, a mildish day, but milder compared to the day before, but generally probably around average for this time of year. 7 or 8 degrees, quite widely, still cold across Scotland. And for the 28th, again, similar, 10 to 11 degrees in the south, much colder in Scotland. Again, very big temperature contrasts. For the 29th, you can see colder in the south, 5 to 7 degrees, so sort of 3 or 4 temperature swings from Wednesday to Thursday and probably back again, just simply because we're transitioning air masses, and again into Friday, cold initially, but much milder areas arriving once again with those big weather fronts. So Not only is it going to be very unsettled, probably rainy this week at times as well, and quite blustery and potentially quite severely windy at times, the temperatures will be very much up and down from maybe 10 to 12 degrees in the south at times to maybe 4 or 5 degrees on other days. Again, those temperatures not causing any major disruption really. And if they were swinging from above freezing to below freezing, then we could see disruption with ice and snow, but we're expecting it just to be fluctuating from slightly above average to slightly below average at times. Now, if you go over to the GFS and have a look what that's showing over the course of the next few weeks, we'll run through these quite quickly. Again, you can see low pressure running it off the Atlantic, really spinning up by Wednesday time. Initially, a big low there through Wednesday, and then a secondary low through Thursday and Friday there. If this run taking it through Scotland, again, if that formed slightly further southwards, slightly tighter isobars, it could even be more severe, and then maybe some more severe lows as we head for the 1st of January. So very deep low there, 950 millibars looking likely in the centre of that low. Beyond that, we stay fairly unsettled, but as I said, towards the middle of the first week of January, high pressure builds in. Initially, this is a very mild high pressure system with southerly winds, but if it did sit over the top of us, it could turn colder with an inversion. And it does have a go here, trying to push northwards and eastwards, trying to pull an easterly wind in. Look at the air masses, colder areas, trying to push into southeast Europe, but not really getting anywhere near the UK with westerly winds prevailing. If you look at the GEM, see how that does compare. Again, westerly winds taking over, and then we go very unsettled. Initially, deep low through Wednesday to Thursday, and then another low pressure system through Friday could be quite disruptive there, and into the first day of January could be a severe low, but it does eventually get pushed away by high pressure trying to nudge up from the south. It doesn't really take control of our weather, but it does push the centre of the lows back towards Iceland. So yes, remains windy, remains rainy, but perhaps not quite as severely windy as the days prior to this. If you look at the ECMWF, see how that does compare. Again, westerly winds at the moment, fairly unsettled, deep lows through Wednesday and Thursday, then once again maybe through Friday. And as we head into the new year, low tries to push in, but high pressure holding it at bay. And actually right towards day 10, we start to see the high pressure trying to penetrate into the North Pole. But again, initially it just turns to actually quite mild, but does pull colder air out into Scandinavia, which could in turn come towards the UK. But again, as I said, that's something to keep an eye on around the 10th of January time, perhaps, for anything cold. But for the time being, it is remaining fairly mild, westerly, very unsettled for at least the next 5 days, perhaps the next week or so, before hints of high pressure building in through early January. You can see that well resembled on the ensemble members, generally up and down above average and below average over the course of the next few days, and then the longer term is generally mild, a drying trend from around the 4th, 5th January onwards, and that's that higher pressure building in. But again, we'll have to keep an eye on those upper air temperatures because they can be deceiving. If we are into the centre of the high, as I said, there could be an inversion, cold temperatures in the day and night, thick fog, things like that, making it feel a lot colder than the upper air temperatures at this range would suggest. But it's generally very unsettled towards the end of the year, quite up and down with the upper air temperatures, surface temperatures as well. It could be very windy and rainy as well. If we look at the ECMWF ensemble members, the midnight run, again very similar, quite up and down over the course of the next week or so, and then into January, generally above average, remaining fairly above average, all the way to sort of the 10th of January, with no real signs of anything cold at all. Best chance of anything cold here, as I said, is in an inversion under higher pressure, but it is trending slightly drier from the 4th or 5th of January, so maybe signs of higher pressure there. And again, we could look at the sea level pressure in the longer term, just trending higher as well after big low pressure systems later this working week. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you do have a great rest of your Sunday, Christmas Day today, and next few days as well. Hope you do enjoy it. Again, there could be some disruptive weather for snow and ice over the course of the next 24 hours or so in the north and the west. But apart from that, we're not looking at anything really too disruptive. Perhaps towards Wednesday to Friday time, when we could see severe lows moving through. Again, there will be very heavy rain with that, but hopefully it does move through quite quickly in the last 6 hours or so, in sort of a maximum 6 hours or so, and hopefully for many will arrive overnight. But again, we'll have to pinpoint those timings nearer to the actual event. But of course, the blustery winds could be something that does last quite a bit. So we'll keep you updated on that over the course of the next few days. As I said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.